Today on Racing Legends podcast, I'm going to preview this weekend's Belmont Stakes. We certainly hope it's this weekend, but due to the Canadian wildfires, the smoke has been blowing towards New York and also the whole mid-Atlantic. I think there is some doubt as to whether the race will go forward, but the Belmont is a great event. It's a great city, and I certainly hope we'll be able to get the race in this weekend, but I'm sure we'll have the race soon, if not this weekend. It's been a tough week for racing. It seems like most weeks are tough. Churchill had to move its racing to Ellis Park due to more horses that died on the track or died after workouts. So racing continues to have some bad luck. So let's hope we can have a nice day to showcase our favorite sport on network TV. The race itself is a very interesting race, and I think it's dominated by the fact there are no early front runners, no early pace horses in the event. And whenever you have a race without early speed, it's very difficult to predict what's going to happen. And they're also very unpredictable in terms of the result, which makes it could be a nice event to watch. And for folks who like to bet, maybe they can make some money on it. I think it's clear that you would think National Treasure would be the early front runner in the race. He won the Preakness on the lead, and obviously the connections are going to feel like he's got a big chance if he can make the lead again. He seemed to improve with the blinkers on, and being on the inside, and he seemed to improve with being on the lead. It was his first win in a while, so I think we can expect National Treasure to at least try to go to the lead. In the Preakness, there was other horses in the race that appeared like they could have speed. Here, there appears to be none. I think from the inside, it's probably likely that Tapit Shoes and Il Maricalo could be horses that break sharp and go to the lead. Neither one of them has shown a lot of pace or been on the lead in many other races. As a matter of fact, Tapit Shoes, who draws the inside, a Brad Cox horse ridden by Jose Ortiz, he's one of the few, but he's been close. So he draws the inside. His brother Erod rides Forte, a closer. So it does make sense. And I know there's always conspiracy theories of how they work together. It does make sense that he could be on the lead to set it up for his brother, or just to win the race himself, because there's not much pace in the race. And Antonio Sano's Imuricalo, with Marcos Meneses aboard, he won his last race on the lead. There was no pace in that race, but he's only won 2 races in his life. Both have been on the lead. Very, very low buyer figures. Figures that have no chance, but they may send. That may make it tougher for National Treasure to make the lead. But I do think whoever does get the lead, the horses around them are going to just settle. There's going to be no incentive to really duel once they make that left turn into the first turn in a 12 furlong event. There's going to be very little incentive to keep the pace scrimmage going. So the race is going to settle, and they're going to go slowly. So whether it's National Treasure or Il Miracolo on the lead, I expect the pace to be slow, and the horses would probably be in a pretty tight pack going around. But the problem with the paceless race is it becomes more of a jockey's race of who makes the lead, and a matter of who breaks sharp. So sometimes in these races, we'll get a complete stranger on the lead just because there are no habitual early type horses that can dominate the pace. I think National Treasure is likely to be overbet because he appears to be the controlling speed in a paceless race. In the Preakness, it didn't seem like on paper he could make the lead, except for the fact that they sent him and he was inside, and Jaime Rodriguez relented the lead to him. Here, it seems like it's so obvious that he could be on the lead that I think the betting action is going to show on him. And also he'll get the respect from other horses. I just don't think it's likely that he's going to be value, even though he does have a shot to win the race. The favorite Forte, the reigning Breeders' Cup champion, who came off injury that forced him to miss the Derby and also the Preakness. He's got a great record. He seems to always work out a good trip, which maybe he's the kind of horse that does whatever the pilot says. But his pedigree is an issue. He's out of violence. They tend to be sprinters, even though he does have some stamina on his mother's side of the family. But it seems likely that Forte, though a definite contender in here, is going to be overbet. And I just don't know with his pedigree whether a mile and a half is necessarily going to be his thing. Angel of Empire, same thing. Nice Derby third, but he had a perfect trip in the Derby or a relatively drama-free race. So does he get that trip again? Could be, but he's also bred to sprint, not to go long. More to sprint, not to go long. So I definitely think Angel of Empire with Flavian Pratt is a contender, but I think he's going to be overbet. I don't see the value in him. Which horses can be value? I think Tapit Trice may be value. He had a very troubled Derby, steadied a few times, wide trip, one of the leaders in distance traveled in the race. And the thing I like about him, he's bred for distance on both sides of his family. He's by Tapit, which is that distance pedigree, and his mother, Dancer Trice, won races going along as well. So I think this horse with the Trouble Derby and his pedigree, Luis Saez up, he could be value here. He might be 3-1, 7-2, 4-1 with a big chance to win. Another, I think, more of a long shot is Arcangelo. This is a horse that recently won the pedigree, the Peter Pan, just 3 weeks ago. Has good form at the Belmont track. Has been training well at Belmont. Jenna Antonucci, she's been a little bit hot lately, and I think she has a horse that's 2 for 2 off the layoff. I don't think the horse has to win, but I do think in a race with others that are going to be overbet, in a paceless race, which tends to lead to unpredictable results, I think this horse could be a long shot with a shot. A chance to win the big prize. Now, I don't think you can look at this race and play any of these horses with certainty, but I do think Tapit Trice and Arcangelo are horses that are interesting at their price and may merit further consideration. The Belmont's a great event. I hope it goes on as scheduled this weekend. I hope everyone is safe from the fires, and I hope everyone has an enjoyable Belmont weekend. Thank you.